Hello everyone, it's your friend of a friend. A lot has happened since my last upload, so let's just start there. So when I last uploaded my recent video, I only had 35 subscribers and I'm grateful for every last one of them. And then the video that I posted recently, my subscriber count just blew up. I made a thank you post when we reached 100 subscribers because I was truly so happy with that. Little did I know it was just going to keep growing and growing, and I'm so happy. So everyone who posted that they were new subscribers, I tried my best to make sure that I acknowledged you and thanked you personally. If I missed anyone, I am truly sorry. There were so many comments that were flooding through that I may have missed a few people and didn't get to acknowledge everyone. So I just want you to hear me now say thank you so much for your subscription and welcome to the channel. I'm so glad to have you all here. Your comments have been so kind and encouraging, and honestly, it meant more to me than you'll ever know. At the same time that this video was blowing up, I had a death in the family, and it came out of nowhere. She's a cousin. She wasn't sick that we know of or in an accident. She literally was on the phone with a friend and she passed away while on that phone call. So I've been just in shock. I think now it's finally registering and I think I'm in the grief stage. So I just wanted to share that with you guys to remind you to let your family and friends know that you love them. She and I hadn't spoken in a really long time. The last time I actually saw her was at another relative's funeral. And we literally said we have to make time for one another and catch up. That opportunity never happened. So if there's anyone who's coming into your mind right now who you haven't spoke to in a while, please stop the video and just reach out right now. This video will be here when you get back, and take this as a sign to reach out because we are living in some really bizarre times, to say the least. But your kind words have really helped me through this time, and a lot of you had some really great suggestions about what you would like to see from me going forward, like longer content. Shout out to the subscriber who requested the longer content. Your comment really tickled me and I aim to please, so I will definitely be dropping some longer form content in the future. Just be patient with me right now. I'm playing catch up everywhere. But as soon as I find my rhythm again, I will definitely get back to the regularly scheduled program. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to add is that at the time of making this video, we are at 909 subscribers, and at 1,000 the channel becomes monetized. And I didn't expect for that to happen this soon. I was prepared to grow at a snail's pace while I was working on getting better and stepping up the quality with each video. So when good things like this happen, I do believe you have to pay it forward. So once the channel is monetized, I want to do some cash giveaways, but this will only be for my subscribers. So if you've been watching the content but you're not subscribed, you might want to hit that subscribe button so you can get in on this. And of course, we have to discuss the plantation video. I will get to that in just a moment. I just wanted to give an update on our friend Haley Joel Osment. I never realized till now all the Haley variations out there. We've covered Haley Joel Osment, Haley Bieber, Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry yet, but maybe one day, Haley Steinfeld. This name has become so popular. But anyway, according to People magazine, Haley Joel Osment had his day in court. So if we remember, Osment was arrested on April 8th at a California ski lodge on charges of public intoxication and possession of a controlled substance. Haley Joel Osment must attend AA meetings for 6 months as a result of his suspected public intoxication arrest in April, a judge ruled. Osment, 37, was arrested on April 8th in Mammoth Lakes, California, on charges of alleged public intoxication and possession of a controlled substance. The Sixth Sense actor was arraigned in court on Monday, June 2nd, where he requested and was granted a 1-year diversion by the judge, People has exclusively learned. Osment will be required to attend at least 3 AA meetings per week for the next 6 months. Additionally, he must meet with his therapist at least twice a week for the next 6 months and obey all laws. So what do y'all think, friends? Did they let him off too easy? A couple of AA meetings a week and mandatory therapy sessions? I said in my last video he would probably have to pay a fine and court fees, maybe a little community service, but it looks like he's not doing either. The Mono County District Attorney reportedly objected to the diversion request due to Osment's prior DUI conviction, as well as the actor using racial slurs against a police officer while being arrested, but was overruled. And for any of you wondering what the heck is a diversion as it pertains to law, a diversion is any of a variety of programs that implement strategies seeking to avoid the formal process processing of an offender by the criminal justice system. Although these strategies, referred to collectively as diversion, take many forms, a typical diversion program results in a person who has been accused of a crime being directed into treatment or care program as an alternative to criminal prosecution and imprisonment. So, pending Osman's successful completion of the diversion, all charges will be dismissed by the court. However, if he does not complete the diversion, criminal proceedings will be reinstated. Osman's next court date is set for January 5th of 2026, when his compliance with the requirements set by the judge will be reviewed. The actor issued an apology for the disgraceful language he used while being arrested. He says, "I'm absolutely horrified by my behavior. Had I known I used this disgraceful language in the throes of a blackout, I would have spoken up sooner," Osment said in a statement shared with People on April 17th. "The past few months of loss and displacement have broken me down to a very low emotional place." Osment, who lost his home in the Eaton fire in January, continued, "But that's no excuse for using this disgusting word. From the bottom of my heart, I apologize to absolutely everyone that this hurts. What came out of my mouth was nonsensical garbage. I let the Jewish community down and it devastates me. I don't ask for anyone's forgiveness, but I promise to atone for my terrible mistake." And there you have it. So we are wishing Haley Joel Osment the best in his therapy and recovery. Hopefully he learns his lesson and we don't hear about him in the news for this nonsense ever again. Okay, so let's talk about the plantation video. I was pleasantly surprised with the response overall. I really wanted to highlight some of y'all's comments because I felt like a lot of you had some very insightful things to say and you had some valid points, and I wanted to highlight that and give you your credit. But then I thought maybe some people don't want their comments singled out in that way. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. If overall you're okay with it, I will shout out the really good comments from time to time or even pin them in the comments. Just let me know. Although I really don't see myself reviewing my own videos in the future, but this is my most viewed video thus far, so attention must be paid. So I got comments from everywhere: Ireland, Africa. I can't remember if they said where in Africa, but shout out to y'all. Canada, St. Louis, the Carolinas, Florida, the Caribbean, just all over the map. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your perspective on this topic. I honestly thought the responses would be evenly split with negativity, since some people were so upset with the Nottoway plantation being burnt to a crisp, hopefully to never be resurrected again, but the responses were overwhelmingly positive. And hang on here, I just want to give you guys a sneak peek at my analytics, and you'll see the video got way more likes at 3,753 versus the 75 dislikes. And that gives me hope that at the very least the people within the algorithm who received this video are good people. Because with who we have as president and the way things are regressing in this country, I was a little worried. So I took some of the comments and questions that you asked and I tried to respond to them in the comments, but some of my answers were a little long or required more thought before I could respond. So I thought I would just expound upon the first video based off your questions and responses. And again, I didn't single anyone out, I just paraphrased the questions or comments, so don't think of this as a clapback or anything like that. It's not. I don't feel like in life or even on this channel that everyone has to agree with me. I'm open to different perspectives, or at least to try to see it from your side, and sometimes my opinion does change, and other times my stance is my stance, and hopefully we can agree to disagree and still be cool. So one question I was asked is, what is my opinion on plantation style homes? I do believe I responded to that question in the comments, but I still wanted to go over that question. So I don't care about the style of the home at all, or even the fact that most of them are built to resemble a plantation, as long as there aren't human beings on that property being abused, tortured, or unalived in any way. So it's not lost on me that authentic plantation homes, as well as the imitation ones, are beautifully built. Like, they clearly are. They're breathtaking. I can't lie. They're gorgeous. My ancestors did their big one with these homes, for real. The architectural design of these properties are inspired by elements of Greek revival or federal architecture, including column porches, pediments, and ornate detailing. The porches are a big standout to plantation style homes. The landscaping, them being raised to protect against flooding. The landscaping, the symmetrical landscapes with the manicured boxwoods or the gravel or brick pathways. The interiors typically have hardwood floors. Again, the columns are a big signature of that style of home. So yeah, they're beautiful. So again, my issue isn't with the style of the home, it's about what took place on the land and within its walls. I think that question was asked because Ben Affleck's home wasn't the original, it was a replica built on the land that was a plantation and is still a burial ground to this day to the slaves from the original plantation. So a lot of questions also ask, what do I think should be done with former plantations? I think I might have said I wanted to see them all bulldozed and burnt to a crisp, but I honestly think the Whitney plantation got it right. They turned this plantation to a museum. They honor the slaves by telling the truth about the cruelty and the enslavement that they endured. This place is a museum that honors the legacy. They give guided tours and they educate visitors on what really took place on those grounds. There are also no weddings or parties being thrown here. The human beings that worked the lands and made everyone else wealthy and their descendants thereafter at least get some dignity and respect by acknowledging their contributions in building this country. Instead of lying and claiming to preserve history, but only that of slave owners, and act as though slaves never existed, turning slave cabins into cozy cottages and a house of horrors into a resort or a wedding venue.
One of the last sights are these sculpted heads, replicas of 60 men beheaded for their role in a local slave revolt more than 200 years ago. But Cummings wants people to realize we aren't that far removed.
You look at the paper and you'll see that some militant group has decapitated a French journalist, and we all wonder what kind of barbarians could do that. We did that. Americans. We did that.
John Cummings is the founder of the Whitney Plantation Museum. He used $8 million of his own money to create this museum.
When they say, well, why is a white man involved in this? I'll say, well, don't you remember it was a white man who caused all of this?
Another comment that I saw quite frequently in the comment section was that I was giving the people who are having their weddings on this property too much credit, that they aren't going to research the history of the property before having their celebrations. And to that I say, please don't insult my intelligence, and I won't insult yours. Let's say a couple selects one of these properties. The name has been changed, no mention of a plantation on the website. You still know a plantation when you see one. And when I say this, the look of a plantation when you see one, I'm referring to the United States. Slavery was a global thing. Plantations were created all over the world, but I can only speak to the ones in the United States. Okay, so let's run it down. So most plantations, not all, are in the South. So that's one indicator. They are built in the style that we just covered earlier. They're usually sitting on acres of land. Not all are sprawling estates, but the majority of them are. And all you have to do is ask or read the literature on the property, and there is bound to be something that says that this home was built in the 1600s, the 1700s, or the 1800s, and that tells you everything you need to know. I do feel like some of these comments were trolling, but we're not going to play games here. There were people in the comment section who confessed to having their own plantation weddings, and they admitted, I knew what took place on the plantation and I didn't care. These people book these places knowing full well what they used to be, and they don't care. They justify to themselves that because it was so long ago, or because it's aesthetically pleasing, or they really want to immerse themselves in what they feel like life was like during those times. And this is probably the closest they're going to get to that experience. Another comment that I saw pretty much everywhere was they compared plantation weddings to getting married on Auschwitz. But I'll make it even more simplified than that. When I hear some of y'all wax poetic about how beautiful plantations are after hearing about the atrocities, it reminds me of people, and they can be male or female, with the worst reputations. They can be deadbeat parents, abusers, unalivers, you name it. Just some of the worst people walking the planet Earth. But let them be attractive, which is in some people's cases their only redeeming quality, and that's all people will fixate on. It's like, ma'am or sir, that person is a cold-blooded unaliver. But their response will be, but he's so fine or she's so fine. It's like, okay. That's really how some of y'all sound. Like, atrocities be damned. This place is so cute. So we might as well circle back to the most egregious plantation couple, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. It just keeps getting worse with these two. The more I learn about them, the worse they are. So it was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers, and thank you to you, that these two own Boone Hall Plantation. And shout out to y'all for spilling that tea, because I did not know that, but am I surprised? No. So one of my subbies, not only did she let me know what was happening in the comment section, but she also linked the video. So I'm actually going to just post the video in the description box just for the sake of the length of this video. I don't want it to be too long. But yes, that so-called apology meant nothing. And when I reread the apology, I realized it was Ryan Reynolds that came out to apologize for the wedding. Blake didn't say a damn thing. She wasn't sorry for nothing. But Blake did take to her Instagram to let us know that she cut the NAACP a check for $200,000 for the legal defense fund in response to George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and Eric Garner, who were unalived by the police. And then there's this photo of Blake Lively that circulated around the internet, I think last year, at the start of this whole battle with her and Justin Baldoni, of her resting her crusty feet on this black man's back. But I blame him just as much as I blame her. Like, sir, why are you down there? And why did you let her do this? Don't you know you's free now? Stand up. Blake is definitely a weirdo with some racial issues that she needs to unpack. She even had a website called The Allure of Antebellum, where she explores her fantasies and yearnings for that life in the Deep South. Now, there's no mention of slavery, but another commenter put that Blake is a Cali girl and Ryan is a Canadian. So what is their obsession with plantations to the point where they need to own one? So another commenter wanted to know, did I know that black couples have plantation weddings? And I don't think I answered that question. My first thought was, yeah, slaves got married on plantations all the time, but those marriages meant nothing as they were split apart and sold anytime the slave owners wanted. Now, did I know that they were doing it today? No, I didn't. I didn't learn about it until I did the first video and the content creator Spill mentioned it in her video. But I didn't mention in the video because it was on celebrity plantation weddings and I didn't find anything on black celebrities getting married on plantations, so I didn't include it. Plus, I needed to do more research on that topic. But from the comments that I was getting, it's pretty common in the Caribbean. Black folks seem to get married on plantations there all the time, from what I gather. The race of the couple doesn't matter to me, though. I still find it distasteful that anyone wants to hold a celebration there. But then I realize, and I have to remind myself of this often, that when it comes to black folks throughout the diaspora who are descendants of slaves, have a different reverence for their ancestors and different experiences of the aftermath of slavery, and we definitely are not a monolith. So I really had to shift my perspective to understand why a black person would want their union held there. And the only thing I can think of is it's our ancestors that built these homes and never got to experience the beauty and the amenities that these homes had to offer. They did grueling work and looked after their masters and their masters' children and did all the back-breaking labor only to retire to their dilapidated shacks on Slave Street. So maybe for some black people, this is a middle finger to the slave masters that I'm black and my spouse is black and we are getting married on these grounds all up in the big house and ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Now, interracial couples, specifically black ones with white partners, because there were those type of couple combinations mentioned in the comment section, would get a major side eye from me because it's giving this. This couple went viral, I think in 2023 for these weird engagement photos, and I feel like this is just blatant mockery. And I'm not saying as a black person you can't marry outside of your race, but why must you do all of this? It seems like when black people marry white people specifically, they go out of their way to degrade their blackness to appease their spouses. And in most cases, not all, I don't think the white significant other is looking for you to do all that, but they are not going to stop you either. It just really feels like some black folks think they become white through marriage. But these kind of couples have a way of working things out between themselves, and I'm going to leave them to it. So that is the video, y'all. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I don't think I used the word plantation this much in my entire life. And again, I want to stress this video isn't to shame these couples. Like I said in the first video, I don't think people like this care about anyone other than themselves. So I doubt they feel any guilt or shame behind this. So hopefully this video educates, but it's really for entertainment only. Anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will be back with new topics very soon. Thank you so much.